Hey YouTubians, it's Tony here from We Try Anything. Channel likes trying anything, so you don't have to. Today's video, as you can see from the image behind me, is a video which is of a watch that I've worn over what will be the month of May in 2024. Now what I try and do at the end of the month or at the start of the following month is I wear a watch over 30 to 31 days, which it forces me to get my watches out of my watch box and wear something a bit new. And I kind of give you my idea of wearing a watch on a daily basis as opposed to just wearing it for a couple of days and giving you my kind of early initial feedback in the form of a review. But in this case, I'm going to talk about what this watch, which is the CASIO W-734, which has a module number of, just referring to my notes, 3283. And I'm going to say what this watch has been like to wear over 30 to 31 days. So I've got my notes here, and as you can see, they just keep me on track so I don't go off on a tangent and talk about things that are a bit irrelevant. So I'm going to refer to them. So first of all, comfort. I've got to say this watch was very comfortable from the off. So as soon as I put it on my wrist, I didn't have to hunt around for like either like a fitting that was too loose or a fitting that was too tight. This watch just went on, no problems. Now the only thing I will add to that is that it did move about on my wrist. It didn't stay confident on my wrist like this one here does, which is June's watch, but it just moved about a little bit, but I got used to it. It's not like some of the other watches I've worn where they did move about and they got on my nerves a little. In this case, it did. It just stayed on my wrist, but just had a slight bit of maneuverability to it, which again wasn't a problem, but very easy to wear. It didn't pinch, and there was definitely no inhibitions. Now I'm just putting the sizes to my left here, or what would be to your right, just to give you an idea what the sizes are of this watch. And again, it just fits so well on my 6.5 inch wrist. There's no hand inhibitions doing gardening, washing the car, or any day-to-day activities that I carried out in May. And I've got to say, a really comfortable watch to wear. It didn't nip any hairs, it didn't pinch or anything like that. It just went straight on, no problem. So for that aspect alone, it was really good. Looks wise, I've got to say it was a bit different to the norm that I tend to wear. I tend to wear, obviously, or pick out for my monthly daily driven watch, I tend to pick out watches that are a little bit, you know, they're just one color really, which is black resin plastic. But in the instance of this watch, the CASIO W-734, it is like a blue black resin cased and strapped watch. Now the only thing I will mention while I'm talking about just resin cases and stuff, it will pick up scratches. Now I haven't picked up any scratch, even on that what would be that acrylic crystal display. I haven't picked up anything on this watch, and I did do some gardening. I washed the car. I did quite a lot of outdoor based activities using this watch, and I didn't pick anything up. But what I will say, it will do, because it's obviously like a plastic resin. It's inevitable really, so just bear that in mind if you are wearing this on a much extended basis to what I've worn this watch in the month of May, over 31 days. But again, the colouring, it added a bit of interest to my wrist, because I was used to the usual black, like I'm wearing June's watch. And I've got to say, it was something that, even though I got used to it, but at first I couldn't stop looking at it because it was just a different colour on my wrist. So for that aspect, it's a nice change really. And I don't know how it would be with other outfits that may clash with that blue colour. So, you know, that might be something you have to weigh up when you are looking at a watch of this type. So I just thought I'd mention it, but blue black, it worked really well. The display, yeah, really easy to read, and it is quite a simple watch to read. Now the only thing I will mention, and I'm showing you just a little clip here, there was a lot of ghosting on this watch. I mean, I'm just looking at it here now, and I noticed it when I was driving, and then I was sat in the car waiting for my son to come out of school, and just as I turned the watch, I noticed, my God, that's quite a lot of ghosting in comparison to some of the other watches I've reviewed. And I'm just looking at the watch I'm wearing for June, and even that's got some ghosting, but this, it is quite prevalent on this watch. Now again, you just turn your wrist a little, not a problem. Carrying on with the display, it is easy to read when you're looking at it direct. There's nothing getting in the way. It certainly hasn't got any gimmicks or anything moving about on the watch. It is just telling you the time or any other information that you're looking to glean from it, like for example stopwatch or countdown time or anything like that. So in this instance, you've got like obviously the year, you've got the time, which can be 12 or 24 hour format depending on how you want to set it. You've got the what would be the day of the week, the month within the year, and the date within the month. So a lot of information you just want to hand, just at a quick easy look, not a problem. The only thing with the display that just slightly knocked me with a little is I'll just put the my notes down, is for example what you can see here, the typeface, it's all nice and easily legible, But what there is, and I'm just showing you a clip here of how it looks, it seems like the most left hand digit on the typeface is quite thin compared to the rest of the digits on the watch. Now again, not a deal breaker, but for someone who's done graphic design for most of their kind of working life, it was something that was like, well, come on Casio, couldn't you just manipulate the display or program the display just so it all is uniform really? But they didn't in this instance. And if you've got it on, say for example, if you're using the stopwatch, or if you've got it on 24 hours where you see like a 2, if it's like say 2200 hours or 2000 hours, it just feels like that, you know, when you write on a bit of paper and you're writing a long sentence and you get smaller towards the end because you're trying to fit it on, it just felt like that's how this display was designed. Now again, I'm sure it isn't, because I would imagine Casio would spend some money in R&D and all that for the LCD displays, but it just felt like that for how I was looking at it really. Again, not a gripe, not a bind, not a deal breaker at all. It was just something for me just stood out really on this watch. But other than that, very easy to read, even with my glasses off, yeah, not a problem, very easy to read. And also it's got a great backlight to it as well. Now the backlight does have what's known as an afterglow, and all you do is, where the button placement here is on the front, obviously you just press it, and in darkness and semi-darkness it was really bright, which is really nice, so you can get all information that you want from the display using the backlight. Now the backlight isn't adjustable, so you do have just 1.5 seconds worth of illumination after you've pressed that button. So I mean, I found it just enough to read the time from. But the other added function of the backlight is that you can turn on what's known as auto light. And auto light, I believe if you press the bottom right hand button for a couple of seconds, yeah, you get a little LT, and every time you move, or if your wrist flicks the watch up, it does activate the backlight. Now I'm just going to turn it back off here because I don't want to run the battery down, but it is a nice little addition. So if you've got it on and you know you're in a situation where you can't just press that light button, if you flick your wrist, the light will come on. So it is a nice little touch. But the only thing I will admit is, if you do keep it on, you've got the chance of being open to depleting the battery a little bit, because obviously as you move your hand, you don't realize how many times it's going to switch on and off. So just bear that in mind if you are using that function. And as we're talking about the functions, I might as well say that this watch has got up to 100 hours stopwatch, so it can measure up to 100 hours in terms of elapsed time. It has a built-in 60-second lap memory, so if you do a lot of sports work and stuff like that, then the lap, you know, you can count, you can record the amount of laps, up to 60 of them. It's got a pacemaker option, so for example, if you are running to a certain pace, then this watch can set the pace for you, so it'll beep in, you know, every so often, just so you can keep pace with the watch. It has a timer that counts down from up to 100 hours, which is just phenomenal, and it's got 5 daily alarms all built into this nice little affordable, because I think it's about £30–35 kind of springs to mind. And in terms of the only thing I haven't mentioned obviously is the overall look and design and aesthetic of the watch, because I would have mentioned this in the review that I've done a while back. But the only thing you might find is obviously it's a little bit shouty on the decals, but again, I see this watch as being more of a sports orientated watch. And obviously you've got the front there with the lights, so the button placement's really nice as well on this watch, which I did use the light quite a bit throughout the night, so it's quite a nice little feature, that. But on the overall, what do I think of the Casio W-734 that I've got here, that I've worn in the month of May? I've got to say, I really enjoyed wearing this watch. It was a nice watch to wear on the whole. It's got 100 meters of water resistance, so I worn it while I was washing the car. Obviously, I didn't wear it when I was having a shower. I never wear watches in the shower, but you can go in the shower with it. You can have a bath with it, do some light water sports, because as I say, it's up to 100 meters in terms of water resistance. And it was just really comfortable from the off, and a nice watch with a lot of functions if you are into sports. And even though they went over my head because I just wear the watch to tell me the time and maybe the odd alarm if I need to turn it on, but overall, if you are looking for a watch affordable, comfortable on my 6.5 inches, the Casio W-734 is a watch that's well worth considering really. So it gets the thumbs up from me for the month of May. Now obviously I've got the month of June where I'm wearing here, and no, it's not another, I'm not wearing the F91W again, which I really did enjoy, but I'm wearing something a bit different, which you'll see at the start of July. So I hope you like my thoughts on the daily driving the Casio W-734, and if you did, then please give the video a like. It always helps the channel. If you want to see more videos from the We Trying to Think channel, then please click on the subscription button below. And again, thank you for watching this video. I hope it was of some use to you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.